Okay, here's some on-field strengthening, mobility, stability exercises that you can do post-game or ideally pre-practice every day. This is a portion of what I do with my teams here at Stanford every single day at practice to start us off. My entire warm-up takes 10 minutes. This is only a small piece of that, so this is a few minutes long. So it's very easy to do on the field, doesn't take up a lot of time. Before I get started, first thing, if you can get them barefoot for the warm-up or for the strengthening on the turf, that's going to be great. You want to work on that stability, mobility, and strength of the foot complex, and you can't do that necessarily with the soccer cleat on. If weather permits, get them barefoot for 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to lead to a lot of really positive changes and help keep them a lot healthier than if they're only training in their shoes. Okay, so that's why I'm barefoot. The first exercise we're going to hit, single leg glute bridge. So we're going to work on hip extension, glute activation, a little bit of core stability, a little bit of medial lateral hip stability because we're on one leg. All we're going to do, we're on our back, heels are into the ground, toes are up. I'm going to pull this knee into my chest tight. It's got to stay there. I can't let it get loose down here. Knee stays in tight. Okay, my head is back. I'm going to drive through that heel, through this glute, and extend up. Again, knee is as tight as I can get to the chest. I'm not falling down here or else I can cheat. So I'm staying tight. I'm driving up. I'm holding for 10 seconds. 3 to 4 times. Okay, so that's the first exercise we're going to do in the warm-up or the strength portion, depending on when you're doing it. The next exercise we're going to do, toe touch squat. We're going to learn how to squat properly, and then that's going to progress into other squatting variations. But the first thing is first, we got to learn how to move and squat correctly. Toe touch squat, I'm going to go feet about shoulder width apart, toes slightly out. Make sure they're not out here, make sure they're not in here. Toes are slightly out, comfortable stance. I'm going to hamstring stretch for 3 seconds. I'm going to sit with elbows inside my knees. I'm going to reach tall and stand. Okay, hamstring, sit, reach, stand. Piece of cake. Things you want to make sure of, knees need to stay wide, ideally outside the little toes. So that's why I'm going elbows inside. I don't want to end up here, so I want to be down here, elbows inside. If I need to, you can push them out with your elbows. Teach this position. Second thing is heels need to stay flat. Okay, so I need to make sure as I squat that I'm not here. Okay, heels stay flat, weight shift back, and sit. Heels stay flat, knees are wide, I reach and stand. Okay, toe touch squat, set of 10, perfect warm up. The third thing we're gonna do, 3-way squat. It will progress into 3-way lunge. The only difference, squat, feet don't move, lunge, you're stepping in and out. The first motion we're going to do, split squat. I'm going to get wide into a lunge position. Feet don't move from here. Touching this knee to the ground, and I'm reaching up tall. Okay? Again, heel stays flat. Don't let them get to this. Okay, we want heel flat. We want tibia relatively vertical. Okay? We're going to go 5 each leg. That's number 1. Number 2, lateral squat. Feet double shoulder width, toes are straight ahead. You want to picture a chair off to the side behind them. You're going to try to sit your butt into that chair, keep your chest up tall, heels flat. Sit back, knee is over the feet, and back up. I can alternate sides, 5 to each side, making sure this knee does not come into here. We want to be out nice and wide, hips open. I'm getting stretch, I'm getting strengthening, okay? Trying to get this femur to parallel to the ground is the last piece of that. Okay, 5 to each side. From the side. Okay, the third part of the 3-way lunge is going to be a rotational squat. Foot's going to be left foot on the number 12 on a clock, right foot on the number 3 of that clock. So I want to be nice and wide. I'm sitting back to that chair again. I'm going to face this direction. This leg is straight, toes can come up on this one. Making sure knee is outside the foot. So from the side, And then facing this direction, same thing. So I'm getting stretch and rotational stability, strength on this side hip. Things you want to make sure of. Make sure you're at the 12 and 3 or 12 and 9 position. Your players are going to want to get to here. Make sure they open back up. Should be a 90-degree angle under their hips. And as they're squatting back, they're all going to want to come back here with their knee. Again, we want to be outside or directly over the foot, never on the inside. So we're trying to open up that hip, okay? So that's the three-way squat. The next exercise we're gonna do, single leg stability, hip hinge, posterior chain. We're doing a reaching SLDL, so a reaching straight leg deadlift. So what we're doing, we're standing on our right leg. I'm gonna try to touch that fence with my hands, touch that fence with my foot. And then pulling myself back up tall. From this side, pulling myself back up tall. So I'm working hip hinge, I'm working posterior chain, I'm working medial lateral stability on one leg. The key to keeping athletes healthy is single leg work. We want to make sure that we're working inside outside stability of that leg. That is not the case when you're in bilateral. So we need to be doing things on one leg. So going straight ahead, we want to make sure this foot is pointed straight at the ground. I'm out, I'm pulling myself back up tall. Don't let this foot open up and hips rotate. We want to stay square, so toes straight down. Pulling yourself back up, okay? 10 on each side. The next thing we're going to do, address some upper body strength, push-ups. If you can knock out perfect push-ups on the ground, that's where you're at. If you can't, find a fence, elevated push-ups, okay? That's going to be a better alternative from our knees because we're going to get core stability all the way through. So we always want to start there with elevated. Another exercise you can do as part of the warm-up or the strengthening that's going to help add to core stability and upper body strength is lateral shuffle crawl. Okay, all we're going to do, push-up position, hands are going to cross, feet are going to shuffle. I want to stay just like this in a nice push-up. I'm getting dynamic stability of the upper body. I'm getting core stability, okay, and some good upper body, shoulder and chest strengthening. From there, we're going to do just simple front and side bridges. Again, core stability is going to be key towards pelvic stability, which is going to be key towards what your knee is doing. Your knee's only going to do what your hip and your ankle tell it to do. So front bridges, we're on our elbows and toes. Hips aren't low, they aren't high. I should look like I'm standing up and you laid me flat. We're going to do 3 to 4 10-second holds. On the side, same idea. Top foot in front of bottom foot. Hips are up and forward. I'm looking like I just was standing up and you put me on my side, okay? Both sides, 3 to 4 10-second holds as opposed to just a 40-second hold. You can focus a little more, get a little bit more stability. If you're tight for 10 seconds, relax and repeat. The last thing we're gonna do is gonna be single leg jumps. So we wanna work on, again, stability in landing. I don't care how high you get, how wide you get, how fast it is. I wanna see, can you jump and land and control this femur? So the first one we're gonna do is sagittal, 5 jumps forward, up, stick and control, up, stick and control, not letting the knee cave into the inside like that. Okay, we're gonna go both legs, 5 and 5. Then we're gonna do medial lateral, so left and right, same thing. Jumping to the left, can I control? I'm jumping to the right, can I control? Not that, okay? And coming back, we don't wanna see that. Everything should be right underneath, toes, knee, hip, shoulder, straight line. The last jump we're gonna do is a 45-degree jump. So we're basically adding sagittal and medial lateral on one leg. Okay, 45 degrees, stick and hold. 45 degrees, stick and hold. Doesn't have to be a big jump. All you're worried about is, can you stabilize? Can you control this femur? Again, if you're barefoot, it's just gonna add to the proprioception and the strengthening from the foot all the way up, okay? The last thing I'll show you, just real quickly, these are furniture sliders. You can get them at a paint store or Lowe's Hardware. Okay, we can do a million things with this. All we're gonna do, reverse lunge. This slides on the turf. I'm back and I can pull myself back, right back up. So it's just like a reverse lunge, but now I'm getting a lot of posterior chain and hip strength.